Hey guys, hope you guys are doing well out there in YouTube land. I'm just sitting here polishing the steering wheel horn ring. Been doing this for quite a while now. All the little bits and pieces, well, the last little bits and pieces of trim for the dash, for the door handles, for the doors. And just want to get this nice and shiny. Been at this for quite a while. It's not a fast process. Using some really fine steel wool, 4/0 and 4/0s, and a little bit of polish here, a little bit of dipping, a little bit of rubbing, and it's coming around. If I get a rag, I can wipe it off and show you the difference from what we started with to what we have here. There we go, look at that. See that shine? It's coming around quite nicely versus that, which is really rough, and there is a little bit of pitting happening, but you know, I'm not going to be going after a perfect 10-point show car finish. This is a survivor. The horn ring, from what I gather, these are extremely valuable. This one hasn't broken. It's solid all the way through, so we're going to try and keep it that way and get it mounted back on the steering wheel. So just give me a few minutes. Finish polishing the rest of this out. Hey, we're past halfway, and it's only been a few hours. All those bits and pieces, they all look like this. So I guess you could put this on some machine and polish it up, but I like to do this by hand. That way I know I won't break it. So just give me a few more hours and I'll bring you guys in when we have this done. Alright guys, we're on the last little corner here. Get this groove cleaned out. And I gotta give the fingers a break, they're getting really tired. We've been polishing this thing a lot. Yeah. Just clean that up. Yeah. Give it a final wipe. Get rid of any residue. And at this point, yeah, I think we can call this horn ring done. What do you guys think? Check out how shiny that is. It's like glass. Yeah, now I do have to say that although this steel wool is really fine, I may have gone a bit far on the outside ring. Oh well. What we're going to be doing today is modifying the original steering wheel that came in the Chrysler. Reason why? If you look at this, it is way too big. This is 18 inches in diameter. It feels like you're driving a school bus in the car. When we took it around the block, it just, I'm not used to it, I guess. That's the problem. You know, I come from a different generation. But with everything else we've done to the car, we do have to do something with this steering wheel. It has a bunch of cracks around the perimeter. It's all kind of coming apart. This ring on the outside is really starting to disintegrate, peel off. Now it doesn't want to fall off, but I moved it on the bench earlier and a piece fell off. what we're going to do with this is cut off this outside ring, get a new ring installed that I've had rolled that's a little bit smaller in diameter. Let me get that ring and let's compare and contrast between what we're going to be starting with and where it's going. And this chunk of iron will be the new diameter for that steering wheel. Check that out. Quite a difference. I've gone up to a 7/8 diameter ring. This one really feels thin, actually almost uncomfortably thin. I guess, like I mentioned, from a different generation. Well, new cars have kind of a thick steering wheel, and since it's going to be a driver, I want something that I'm going to be comfortable holding. To get from this to this, I'm going to quickly give you a rundown, and then we'll get into it. So I had a friend of mine roll this for us, and I told him to go a little bit extra because, as you can see, the ends, if he just stopped at this particular diameter, the ends kind of, they're not going where they have to go, is what I'm trying to say. We're going to cut it through here, cut off the excess, find the best spot to cut it, and join it up. Then we're going to take and literally take the zip blade, cut off on those red marks. I've made them indications earlier when I was thinking about it. And what that's also going to do is take this depth of the steering wheel and move it towards this hub area. Now, unfortunately, the first steering wheel ring that I was working on earlier, not this one, the first one, this one, is not going to work in our situation anymore. To modify it, I just can't bring myself to cut this up. Never mind that it's valuable, but it's too nice of a piece to destroy. This part here was found in the box, and I guess somebody broke a steering wheel ring on some Chrysler that the previous owner had, and they didn't bother throwing it out, which is perfect because I really don't feel bad about modifying this piece. I lined up the original ring. You can see, unlike a Chevy that had more of a flat area to it, this one here, it actually sticks out past the steering wheel perimeter. So that's not going to work out too well, especially if we sink the level down. You don't want this to be caught on every time you get in and out of the car. So I'm going to finish polishing this up later. I want to get into working on this part here. And we'll clamp this in the vise, cut off that ring, cut this in the middle, bring them together, and then start planning as to how we're going to approach joining everything together. Now this ring, if we just weld this on to that, it's going to look like we just welded it onto that. And it's not going to look too factory. So we're going to make some changes to this thing as well and kind of tailor it so that if somebody looks inside the car, they might take a double take or triple take and perhaps at that point realize that this is a custom piece. Well, there we go, one ringless steering wheel. That's how much narrower we gotta be. That feels much better. You can see we have to take and bring this together because it's offset a little bit. And I have to take and chamfer that edge so that we can get some good penetration on that. Feels good. Wow, 3 inches. Okay, that's fine there. So basically we're not cutting this off, but I need to expose this much of that rod. There we have the exposed rods for the arms, and I think I need to come back a little bit more. Now, I didn't cut in because they didn't want to cut into this rod. Basically came up to it and glanced off. I'm going to take off the rest of that blue Sharpie, come in on it slow, and then we can center it where it needs to be once we start assembling it. Oops, no, I need you over here. So we need to fix or bring these two ends together. And I think we're going to just use the vise. I had a pipe wrench ready to try and give it a bit of a twist. Well, we could try it. Let's see what happens. Somehow I don't think it's going to help. There's quite a bit of spring to this. Nope. I can pull it into alignment, but I can't twist it. There's just too much spring. Essentially, this is a coil spring that we've created. Forget that idea. Let's just bring this in this way. I like it the other way better. Kind of depending on the micrometer to get things aligned right now. Put a little tack on it, check it out. Tack it after. Right now I'm going to bring them into alignment. You don't tack with a hammer. Well, you can tap, but don't tack. Okay. I just want to put a tack on it. Okay. So I made sure that two ends are coming in flush. Okay, that's going to hold it for us for now. Everything's aligned this way. It's getting pretty heavy at the moment. Let's go to the table and see what we need to do to get that center section located. That's the tricky part. We are 13 inches all the way around going to the ID of this ring. Now half of 13 is 6.5, which I can't see. It's being covered up. 6.5 is there. I'm placing the joint at the bottom. Why? I feel like it. There we are right there. 6.5, 13, yep. Six and a half. So that is going to be where we're going to grind in to create a reveal for these rods to sit in. Like that. Indicate the outside. Outside. We still have a little bit of leeway. And I'd like to cut back a little bit more on this plastic. Like that. Like that. curious. See, 3 inches a little bit too high. 2 inches, I think that's what's going to do it. It's going to be good at 2 inches. A little more than half. See, I've got a little groove that's been cut into this, or marked into this from the rolling machine. So I'm using that as a gauge as to how far we can come in. Okay, so give me a minute to create these grooves and grind back on that center hub a little bit more, and then we'll start fitting this once more. Right now we're pivoting on the squares. These rods are too long. I've indicated we're going to trim them off, and then we'll adjust these rods that are sitting within the ring so that we can come down the 1/4 inch that's necessary. Okay, so with the ends dressed up, we'll go fit this again, see how it looks. Ooh, like a glove. I'd like that to drop down a little bit more into the ring. Okay. Because this is coming in at such an angle, I'm going to adjust the trough on the outside a little bit. A little warm. It's going to get warmer yet. So it's centered. That's centered. Okay. Sometimes you come across a factory steering wheel that as you spin it around, it kind of oscillates. Ooh, yeah. Okay, I need to come down just a little bit more. Then I'll be sitting on this. I'm about a 1/16 off of this box tubing. We no longer need the squares because we are just going to get this centered. Okay, I'm just looking at this hub right now. I'm trying to see if there is a top and a bottom to it. Actually, let's check the spline. That'll tell me the top right away. That's the top. And unfortunately that crack is worse than this one. But after feeling these arms, this arm extends back further than the bottom one. So for this to be the top, it would look funny. So we are going to run with this as the top. I'll mark it just so we don't mix it up. Top. This car was in a fire or within the building that had a fire because everything is covered in soot. I've noticed that on some of the chrome that we've been working with, inside the boxes and inside. The car didn't burn, but it got contaminated with soot. Okay, so with that being the top, that's the top. Drop it in. And I feel that we're rocking. Found some pieces of 1/8 material. I'm gonna shim this up like that. Oh yeah, right there. We're sitting down inside the groove. I'd like to know if we're centered. But we are because I took off equal amounts on both sides. But I can't assume. You know what they say when you assume something. It makes an ass out of you and me. All right, I got some squares here. Get this set up vertically. And we'll measure to the center and see what it says. Seven and a half. Seven and a half. Okay. Let's put a tack on this, flip it over and take a look at it. Let's see what happens. 4 little tacks, I mean they're little tacks, in case we need to break it apart. Would you look at that? I like that. I like that a lot. Be nice if I could spin this. Get a bolt and give it a spin, see how it looks. Just sighting through, and it looks really good. Yeah. Oh, it bumped a little bit there on that contactor. Yeah. If anything, that welded joint is a smidgen high. I can give it a tap with a hammer, bring it down. I might just do that. But I need to weld all this because all the time we spent bringing it all together, I don't want to lose it. So we'll weld this. I'll bump that because it's just on a tack. It should give enough to level out. Okay, so we'll let this cool off. It's pretty hot right now. We'll touch it up with a grinder, smooth it out, anything that's high. Then I'm going to do something that's going to help lighten this up, as well as we're going to create some finger spots at 9 and 3 o'clock. Yeah, 1 above, 3 below. It should look like a steering wheel again. This here, we can throw this out. See, they had their thumb spots there, but I don't know. By the time we went ahead and fixed all this, it's doable, we've done it, but this one is in really, really bad shape. Like, yeah, it's unfortunate. If it was any better, I'd maybe reconsider it, but then again, it's a little bit too big for my liking. So, when we're done with this, I think you guys are gonna like it. I'm liking it already. If it was me watching this, I'd hit the like button.
Wow.
What do you think?
That is pretty. That is nice.
It's all welded. I just finished cleaning that up there.
That's a beautiful job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So right now what I'm looking at doing is grinding a flat into this area. Just
all
like
the way around. Like,
yeah, just like that.
Oh, I see.
See? Otherwise it
Yeah, yeah.
feels a bit off. So you can put your thumb in there and
Yeah, it gives it a little character. Yeah, that's very nicely done. You might want to use this to grind that flat on there.
okay.
The mini
You
grinder.
gotta, the mini grinder's too small. We need the
Yeah.
larger disc.
Yeah.
How about you hold this while I use that thing?
I don't think so. I think you better get the thing over here. I'm not going to hold that.
What thing?
The thing. You know the thing.
Okay. This thing?
Yeah, that thing.
What we're going to do is use this gearbox, motor-driven gearbox, to help rotate this steering wheel so he doesn't have to hold this and potentially lose a finger or two.
Or three.
Or three. It'll give us a consistent speed. We'll apply the pressure, bring her down to where we feel it's comfortable.
We'll have to make up a mounting bracket.
And then we need to get this attached to this shaft here.
What's the RPM on that?
1750.
That's the motor. What's the output?
30 to 1.
30 to 1?
Yeah.
1750 divided by 30.
Well, 60? 55 to 60 RPM.
That should be slow enough, eh?
We'll try it.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll give that 220 volts, speed it up. Funny story that we're not going to share today. Okay. We scrounged up a few odds and ends here. It's a piece of chromo tubing that we can slide over top of that shaft. We'll have to pin it so it doesn't slip inside, but it's a nice tight fit. And then we'll have to somehow adapt the steering wheel, the hub, to this piece of chromoly here. Got a couple large bolts, and what we're thinking of doing is slipping the bolts inside the chromoly, tacking them. It's kind of loose. We want a snug fit, like that nut there. It comes in really snug. So we'll get them mounted, and then we'll place the steering wheel on top, bolt it down. As for the base of this, we got a piece of channel here, and we got to figure out the bolt pattern. We'll probably just use two bolts.
I think 2 bolts is sufficient. Set this on here. I want to see how it looks. That doesn't look half bad. If we bolt that to the top end of this channel, it's actually sitting on it. The weight of it is sitting on the channel. The 2 bolts will basically hold it in place. And we can use this edge because it'll roll over so that your wheel is horizontal. Right now it's vertical. So when we roll that over, it'll sit on this edge. And we can sit it right on that rotisserie for the cutoff on here, possibly.
Sounds good. Let's try that.
We can actually turn it like that, so it'll sit right about there.
This lines up.
Will it work?
Nope. We need to move one whole 1/8 of an inch one way a little bit. So unfortunately, as it turned out, these 2 holes are just a little bit too wide as compared to the ones in the channel. So we're going to take a measure down and drill one more hole down here so that we can locate this channel as such. And then we'll take the whole kit and caboodle and stick it to that little extension on that turntable. Using the crescent wrench backwards.
Exactly. To rotate it like that in your palm, it helps to keep it on.
Put a little tack there.
Put a little tack on the flat.
Okay.
It'll keep the 2 together.
Okay. What if I put a little V in there? Get a little more penetration. Okay. Here, grab it.
Now we've got the ends squared off on the tube. Put the short end on the shaft. Line it up with the hole here. Now let's see if our guide bolt is going to work in here perfectly. Though. See, the nut is just below the outer edge on the inside, so you can get a little bit of a tack in there on either side, 180 degrees apart. Once the bolt is backed out, put the steering wheel on here and run this bolt inside. And that's what's going to hold that steering wheel flat up against that nut, hopefully nice and evenly.
Should be good.
Hopefully the bolt has enough slack in it that it'll square it against the end of that tube.
Get a zip tie and get this mounted semi-permanently to the motor.
Can't get through there.
Proper way is to go into the box and rewire it with a new cord, but this is going to work for the time we need it.
Zip ties.
Thank you. Okay, we'll bolt the steering wheel on once it's in place.
Yeah, it'll be easier to handle without it wheel on there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's it. Plug it in, see what happens. Hey, we got a turntable of sorts. All right, so here we have the steering wheel. There we go. How much? Hey, we have 3/4 of an inch sticking out. Can't quite reach it. Let's give it a try, see what it looks like. That's nice, it's workable, but if I'm grinding, can we change the direction of this?
Flip the plug.
Give that a try.
There's no hole on the bottom.
Ah, darn. All right, guys, that's the end. I've got a little groove here from the rolling machine when they rolled the ring to follow. And now I have the Sharpie on the outside here, so I don't go past that because then it's basically a guide. So there we go, the beginnings of the flat. I'm going to move in a little bit though.
Yeah.
Step it in, because it's up here. It's not bad, but I'll move it in a bit.
The circular disc will give you a concave.
That's true, yeah.
For your thumb. As you're grinding with that grinder, being that the disc is round, it'll leave instead of a flat, it'll leave a bit of a concave, just so perfectly nice to fit your thumb. So that's going to work out quite nice.
You will, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Good.
Okay. Leave me to this for the next hour or so. This is going to take a while. I don't want to rush it. Probably won't take an hour, maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to angle down a little bit more. And this is what I mean when I say you got to see what the metal or whatever you're doing is doing. You don't just get into it and hope for the best. You stop, look at it, analyze it, and just see where it's going. And if you have to make adjustments. If you don't, keep doing what you're doing. Otherwise, from here I can see that I have to angle down a little bit more with the grinder, and well, Bob's your uncle. Well, that's looking pretty darn good. See the angle that I've ground in on? So that's, I think, where we're going to leave it. I'm going to stop this rotisserie and flip this thing upside down and create a few finger rests so that well, you can get a better grip on this thing when you're going through the corners. This here, we're going to have to take and fix that, add some weld, smooth it out. I guess I should have done that ahead of time, but I was just so excited to get this to this stage that, well, ended up being left behind. But that's fine. It'll take 2 minutes to take care of that. This here, we're going to build this up with a bit of filler, smooth it out, blend it in, take care of that crack. I need to take and kind of open it up, clean it out, similar to what you do on a tooth when you're at the dentist. And yeah, tickle pink as to how this whole thing turned out. Okie dokie, we have this steering wheel shape coming along very well. It's still warm, surprisingly. By the time I got the Dremel and everything all set up, created quite a bit of heat. Welcome heat, I don't mind this. Okay, I've gone ahead and spaced out the finger reveals. We're not going to do the entire perimeter with these little reveals, just around the spokes. Yeah, spokes, that was the word I was trying to think of earlier. When I got into this whole thing, I'm trying to think of how I'm going to do it, and to present it, it kind of comes secondary to me sometimes. So I apologize for that. In this case, like I mentioned, we're going to do 4, 1 above and 3 below, because most people only have 4 fingers on each hand. All right, let's see how the top one goes. I've got a Dremel set up with a cylindrical burr. I made a little boo-boo. I have to take and file that out. It's feeling good. I'm actually going to move this reveal upward a little bit. Just by the feel of it, it feels a little bit low. So that will take care of that boo-boo. That's feeling good. Alright guys, so what we have here is a really cool steering wheel. It feels great, the finger reveals are comfortable, the thumb rests naturally into that kind of concave area around the perimeter of the ring. What we need to do is metal finish up down here, take care of that, and mix up some filler and blend the spokes into the outer ring, as well as correct these cracks, fill these cracks, repair these cracks, unfortunately. This one goes all the way into there. I might take a Dremel and very carefully open that up so we can clean it and then get the filler in, same as the one on the bottom, and then we can prime it. I'm going to mix up a little batch of filler here and start addressing these cracks in the center section. And then as it stiffens up a little bit, we'll get it into here, form that up. Got to make sure you mix it through so you have a very homogeneous mixture. If you don't, you'll get soft spots in your final product. Yeah, I'm not very good at this. Probably get more on me than on the horn or on the steering wheel. Some people are really good at spreading Bondo. Yeesh. Yum, yum, yum. Let's take it out of the finger grooves that we just put in. Yeah, see. The real body guys are laughing at me now. What's this guy doing? Better leave it to the professionals. Well, that's going to be it. I'm not messing around anymore. We'll sand that out add a little more where I need to, and done. Ah. It's getting warm in there. Got the steering wheel sanded out with some 600, finalized. First try with some 400, even things out. A little bit of an orange peel from the primer, got rid of that. Now with the 600, it's smooth as glass. We are ready to do something special with this. Yeah, turned out really nice. So let me blow this off, wipe this off, hang it up. We're gonna do it right here. And like I said, we're gonna do something special with this steering wheel for the Chrysler 300i. Normally, I'd do this in our other area, because I don't want to get overspray in here, but a little snug in there, so we are going to just do what we need to do to the steering wheel right here. I had a hole, yeah, right there. Will that stay? So we're just going to wash this steering wheel, some final wash. Make sure that there's nothing on it. And we're going to give it a coat of paint, coat of base. Okay, can you guys guess what color we're going to go with this? Put it down in the comments. All right, that's good. One more time. I'll tack this just before we shoot, and we'll get some paint on it. All right guys, so after giving this a nice coat of silver, I've got the center section taped off, and we're going to Do you see where I'm going with this? I'm just kind of building up the brown to give us a brown color effect. That's pretty even. Give that a few minutes to flash off. This is flashed off, just mixed up a little bit darker shade of brown, and you're going to kind of blotch it up a little bit. That should be good right about there. We don't want too much flame, and we only have one shot to get this right. What we're going to do, use a little bit of acetylene, and we're going to just kiss this steering wheel from the front, from the back. I can't afford a real wood grain steering wheel, so I'm making my own. Ooh, that was close. Gotta make sure you get it all the way around. Okay, that's it. All right, so what I've done here is just lightly kissed the steering wheel with a little bit of acetylene. It might be a little bit heavy here and there, but what I'm gonna do now is, yeah, that's better. We want to just very lightly drag this around, like so, pulling the soot around. And I think I'm going to do it one more time. Give it some depth. Because right now we've got, it's kind of one-dimensional. Yeah. Like I mentioned, this is an old school technique to give you a wood grain effect. Yeah. I think the longer we hold it on, the nicer texture we're going to get. But I don't want to burn the paint, so like I mentioned, it's more of a smooch than a gentle kiss. Okay. I think this time we're going to go a little lighter, a little more gentle. The soot is still falling down. Woohoo. Got a front coming in. Ooh, easy there. We just want a gentle flame. To lock this in, we're going to put a coat of clear on this, followed by 4 more coats of clear, just to give enough wear resistance for our hands as we're driving the car. I think I will very gently untape this and throw some clear on it. Once it's cleared, dry it, I'll bring you guys in and you guys can see how this turned out. Well, here goes nothing, guys.